My colleagues Moira and Eileen from UCL are going to talk about a very creative approach to finding out what students want. And it's going to involve some real hands-on work. And so, do you want us to start distributing them now, or should we leave it until... Yeah, OK. So, you need to work in 3s or 4s, I think. We're not sure how many packs we've got. 3s. And you're going to be given a pack of goodies. This is hands-on without actually using any digital technology or Wi-Fi, which is going to be a great relief. And so we're going to distribute these resources around amongst you. So that's a few minutes of disruption while we do that.
Okay, now everybody, you're getting your resources, so let's move on. So Jane Secker told us to get rid of the boxes. Well, we're going to bring them back in a slightly reimagined way, perhaps. And so what I'm going to tell you about is really connecting with a lot of the things that Ellie and Sarah were talking about yesterday in terms of, using creative ways and engaging with students and student unions to sort of help people articulate their needs for digital literacy. We held an event at a student union event that used the humble cardboard box to get students to build a kind of structure to help ease the sort of journey of half-articulated, the half-thought ideas about what they might need in terms of digital literacies into the outside world. And we've been hearing a lot about how it's so difficult to get people to talk about things where they don't know what they don't know. And I think lots of the ways in which we have been engaging with students have come up with those kinds of problems in terms of asking students what they want from, for instance, a learning environment where they can't really imagine beyond what they experience right at the moment. So we use a kind of playful technique in order to do that. Because our challenge really was to try to get people the students to tell us about their digital journeys to and through UCL, to really tell us what they're doing and how digital technology is helping or could help them. And even that, to just sort of say what it is that they're doing was a challenge for us. And when we're talking about technology, as we've been hearing, technology can arouse quite powerful kind of effective responses. People can love it or they can hate it, and it can turn from one thing into the other in a moment. And so some of those things also make talking about technology quite risky because it's so potentially emotional. So an object like a cardboard box can be maybe a thinking tool because we have often affectionate relationships with objects like the comfort blankets of childhood, those things that sort of ease painful transitions. And here we're trying to think about a comforting cardboard box as a way to, in a post-digital, I suppose, way, to help people to communicate some of those feelings about technology. And so, thinking about what's going on there, play is obviously increasingly popular way of getting people to engage in learning, or at least sharing of knowledge in this case. And so what we've been trying to do is get students to imagine possibilities, to externalize them, to share them with other people, so that they can get feedback, they can engage in a kind of dialogue with us. And while sort of children might want to keep their transitional objects to themselves in a private way, it's very important, I think, for us to get people to share what's going on inside their heads. And so that's really what the role of the cardboard box is in this activity. And so what we did, we wanted to find out about students' digital education needs. We also wanted to do that in a way that we were kind of engaging students and giving them something back. So we ran a workshop at the UCLU Education Conference in order to share maybe new approaches to learning and teaching, like using narratives and making creative constructions. And so what we asked them to do was to refashion a well-known story as if they were telling us their digital journeys through UCL, and then create a cardboard box which they could use to communicate with us what their ideal digital learning environment would look like. And we've got a nice clip here that was made without any involvement of us at all, which kind of tells us a little bit about that experience in the workshop.
Invited to tell our own personal stories of experiences at UCL, specifically as they relate to the digital environment, or the lack thereof digital networks that are available to us, but through the telling of a story. And we were also given a box and little Lego figures to kind of further narrate our experiences at UCL, which I think was a really fantastic idea, although we only had 30 minutes to pull it all off, and I felt that was too bad, because we probably could have spent half the day doing that, I think.
And so what we asked them to do was to retell the story, the Owl and the Pussycat story, as if the Owl and the Pussycat were going to UCL, and to sort of pepper that with references to digital tools that they might encounter, or frustrations with the digital world. And we heard a lot about, for instance, not being able to find a printer, and things, print became a big thing in that story. And it was, we gave them some prompts. So we kind of said, okay, so where does the Owl and the Pussycat live? How did they get to UCL? What did they use? What did they, do when they get there? And so on. And we took them through the various spaces of UCL through that, guys. And they seemed to pick it up quite easily, despite the fact that it's not necessarily a story that all of them were familiar with. But that sort of idea of just a nonsense rhyme that didn't really mean anything, so it could mean anything to them. It was a kind of a warm-up to get them thinking. And then we asked them to create a box. We gave them a box, we gave them some sticky things, we gave them some little Lego toy to put inside if they wanted, and some coloured pens, and we asked them to tell us their digital dreams, put them in the box, and give them to us as a gift. And in return, we suggested we would provide them with a kind of digital prescription to help them fulfil their dreams. We also gave them an app voucher to help them on their way. And so you can see here a little stall that we held, after the workshop. We've got one similarly out there for you to display the digital boxes. And there's Moira with a Lego figure. And so, so the instructions that we gave them were to take a box and use it to share their ideal digital environment, just in terms of this picture, to write on it, decorate it, add things to it. And also, you know, potentially maybe there were things that they didn't want to put on the outside of the box, that like the more secret things, more personal things, maybe their hopes, their fears, that they could put inside. So that the box, I mean, is quite a malleable thing, because you can write on all the different surfaces. You can stick things in it. You can add things inside. And they gave us their boxes with all of their digital dreams, and what we did with them then was to photograph them on all of their different sides and read them. Often the students would say to us, "What are you going to do with these things?" And you know, we said we're going to read them, and we read them, and we kind of turned it into a spreadsheet of lots and lots of comments, and we started to analyse those things. And then in return, we were able to kind of take what we'd learnt about them and feed back to the students. And a lot of the time what we were finding was that the students weren't necessarily aware of some of the things that we had tried to provide to support their digital capabilities. You know, Linda and Bobbin, for instance, come to mind. And so you know, that was also useful, just to sort of show them what we had already for them. And so what we want to do is to get you to experience that, to help, to share what you think is what we're going for, what we're aiming at really in terms of support for digital capabilities. You know, what is your digital nirvana that you kind of can envisage in the future, which obviously very difficult to kind of think of, but maybe the box will give you a hand to do it, because we need to give ourselves this kind of mental elbow room, as Ackerman says, to kind of let the genie out and let us see afresh. So that's what we're going to ask you to do. And to start you off, it's a bit difficult to get you to tell a story in this kind of environment, but we could just get you to rephrase a song that was well known in the 80s. I don't know if you know it now, but this is Belinda Carlisle. So Belinda Carlisle says, "In heaven, love comes first." So Steve and Moira are going to ask you, in digital heaven, what comes first?
I'm just going to pick on a few people at random, somebody who will always have...
One word, in digital heaven, what comes first?
No, I don't know.
Anyone like to volunteer?
Yeah. Pedagogy. Safety.
Pedagogy? Any other words? I'll read them out.
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Yes. We've learned that.
Access, we've got
People.
here. People.
Battery life.
Battery life. Okay, so I mean, some quite...
Yeah, so I think that's pretty good going. So we've got some ideas there to start thinking about, and maybe communicating through the medium of the cardboard box. And so that's what we want you to do now. We want you to build your box and use it to communicate your digital nirvana. And when you're done, tweet a photo of your box, and we've negotiated 5 game points for those tweeted photos. So that gives you extra motivation. And you know, if you don't finish it now, you can use lunchtime to add the final touches. And we've got a stall outside to display. So off you go. And Steve and Moira will help if necessary.
Just a reminder, if you tweet a picture of your box, you get 5 points for your team. I suppose if you tweet a picture of somebody else's box, you still get 5 points for your team. Just use the normal UDigCap hashtag, and they will count the points and add them to your totals. Thank you.
So thank you for playing along, everybody. There's some beautiful boxes that we see being made there. And you can carry on doing it, as I said, over lunch, because we've got a table outside for you to display your finished creations. You know what, our experience is that they are really very fascinating, each person's object. So we will, if you want to give them to us, if you want to take them away, of course, you're very welcome. We'll try to, you know, sort of do something to collate the various dreams there after this session. But as I say, take the lunchtime to finish if you like. But it is lunchtime now, so you're free to go.